All right, good morning, everyone. A very warm Gmar Chesima Tova to everybody. This day is known as the Yud Middos, and I remember I did not attend a Hasidic yeshiva, but I remember, the yeshiva I went, I generally would go daven somewhere else. I didn't usually daven yeshivas, chatoy ani mazger ayoim. I don't know why I keep forgetting my sunglasses. So I remember the Manal, Rabbi Shmulevitz, he said, by the Yud Gimmel Middos, you chap all the malachim and strafim. We were aware of all the angels of the tremendous holiness. He was kind of halfway making fun, but also halfway serious, which is kind of his derech, which is beautiful and authentic. I don't mean that in a negative way. and I really wasn't aware of the tremendous significance of this day. Learned a little bit more as time went on about the significance the Hasidim, I'll say, gave to the day. Maybe if I have anything else up here, but just this one there, that's a little bit better. So still not much. Just happened to be behind the bus at the time. So anyway, whether it's the significance that's in the day or the significance the Hasidim give to the day, it's really not that much different, because in general most days of significance are what we make out of them more than maybe. This is a discussion in philosophy between the nomial and the phenomenal, especially if you look at Kant. Are we discussing things that are actual, what we experience or what actually is? And of course, to Kant, religion was outside of that. But really, if we examine that, we can look at our religious experiences and compare them in a sense to if you can't tell, I've been listening to Hillsdale College courses, especially when I'm at that point where I don't have reception and I have it downloaded, and I have a course that's about an hour long, and I'll listen to about 9-10 minutes during that period where I don't have reception. I get a lot out of it. I appreciate that. But anyway, we don't have to talk about those things right now. Essentially, what I really wanted to discuss was this very interesting day that I learned about over the past few years, the day of Yud Gimmel Middos, on which we recite in the Slichas, the Piyut of the Yud Gimmel Middos, which is recited a few other times in the year. Faggy, Mommy said she forgot to give you recess.
What?
Mommy said she forgot to give you recess. I don't have anything in the car, I don't think either.
I don't.
You don't need it? Okay. So, a few interesting things about this day, and I'll mostly discuss what I found in the Machzor Divrei Yol, which describes the Samarav's Hanhagas on this day, which it seems that this is a practice by certain Hasidim, and I've found these practices to be very fascinating. Now, the first thing is that it's mentioned in Shulchan Aruch that if someone fasts 3 days in a row, day and night, straight. There's an opinion, Shulchan Aruch says, not the fact that Shulchan Aruch mentions as an opinion means it's not universally accepted necessarily, but there is an opinion that it's considered as if you fasted for 40 days. Now, I don't think I can manage something like that 3 days in a row. I don't think most people can. However, we have a special opportunity. It's really just today, if you think about it. Because the Gemara says that if you eat on the 9th day of Tishrei, it's considered as if you fasted on the 9th and 10th day. So we find from that if you fast on the 8th day of Tishrei, which is today, Yud Gimmel Middos, so then that goes together with eating tomorrow being considered like fasting, and then fasting on Yom Kippur. So therefore, what you're going to do anyway, right? Like the other things you're going to eat anyway, you're going to fast anyway tomorrow. Tomorrow night already is Yom Kippur, and so all you really have to think about is fasting today. And so if you fast today, it's as if you fasted for 40 days. It's as if you fasted for 3 days, which is as if you fasted for 40 days, according to that opinion, which is an incredible thing. Al-Pi Kabbalah, whatever. I mean, in general, the Hasidim, classically speaking, would often say that there are many things that we could do that were greater than fasting for many, many days and so forth, which is true. The Hamish Hungarian didn't emphasize Hasidus as much as they just emphasized basic Torah, and it's really true. I mean, in general, the Hungarian Rabbanim would just basically say what's the Din Torah, but they would recognize the value of Hasidic spirituality, and so they, the way I feel is that they incorporated Hasidic spirituality into classical Ashkenazic Judaism, and really found a balance between, in many ways, between Sephardic Judaism and Ashkenazic Judaism, and between Hasidic Judaism and even, in a certain sense, Misnagdic, not just non-Hasidic, but the opposition to Hasidism. You know, certainly there's a strong, influence from Sanz among Hungarians, particularly Satmar, and of course the Tzanzer. I mean, the Satmar Rebbes today are Tzanzer Einiklach, but the Tzanzer dynasties as well, Babov and Kloisenberg and so forth. And the Tzanzer Rav, they often said, was the Gilgal of the Gra in certain ways, meaning he brought a temperament to Hasidus and made it mainstream and normal, and not off the wall and cultish, and really made it just a simple Toradic thing. It's like, I remember Rabbi Weinberger, he said the Chofetz Chaim, there was a Chassidish Bachrim came to learn in Radin. That's the vision in Sukkot. There was Chassidish Bachrim, they came to learn in Radin, and some people started to be uncomfortable with that, and Chofetz Chaim said that everyone has to come to this Medrash and Rosh Hashanah. They said, when the Gra was opposed to the Hasidim, because he was worried there'd be less Torah. But we see now in Europe, in his day, the late 19th century, early 20th century, whenever this was, that there was only a few hundred boys learning in all of Lita, and thousands upon thousands of boys learning in Hungary and Poland and the Hasidic communities. And maybe not as much in Russia, but Poland and Hungary were real, bastions of Torah. and real Torah, real, I would say, the Polish focus more on Gemara and the Hungarians focus more on Halacha, not to say that they didn't learn the other. That being said, although, you see today, Klausenberg, there's a big focus on Gemara. Whatever. What was I going to say? All right. So anyway, but that's, I would say, largely because the Hasidic movement tempered itself and didn't go off into a cultish way, although certain elements certainly did. And again, these are not personal attacks from people who find chizik from these particular movements, but rather just simply realization of certain truths and certain sociological aspects. And I don't mean this to attack personally the people. I have Abbas Yisrael for even Hasidim who are members of groups that do go off into these rabbit holes, but there should be some honesty about what's really going on, and an honest, open discussion and dialogue about this. But for the most part, they're so emotional that they won't listen to it, and they get very offended very easily, particularly one group in particular. But I still love them. It's not. But let's move on. The best thing to do in dealing with them is just to have a smile and be nice to them and talk to them about their Rebbe or something, and some nice story, which are many nice stories about their Rebbe, and that's good. As gewähne vor Yid, anyway, aber as gewähne vor Yid, lebt noch nicht. Lebt nicht jetzt in der Welt. In jener Welt, tzaddikim b'misos krim chayim. I don't deny that. It's the same old tzaddikim, but there's still b'misosim. Biologically, he's not here. So in any event, but certainly spiritually, all the tzaddikim are still with us when we learn their Torah and everything. We'll discuss what that means exactly. Brian Shalom gives Siyata D'Shemaya. I really loved from this was before he became the Rebbe, Baron Teitelbaum, the Satmar Rebbe in Monroe. I remember I was by the Yard Site Suda. I think it was in 05. It was before he became the Rebbe. His father was still here. It's Chusik and Lena. Berich Moshe was still here. I remember I went to both Tishin. I think I went at night in Swan Lake to Berich Moshe and the day to Monroe, because I went to Tzion and I went also to Suda, and I'm pretty sure that was in 05. The memory I have a video, at least part of it, not necessarily this Torah, but I remember very distinctly quite a beautiful Dvar Torah from that the current Satmar Rebbe from Monroe said. He said, "What's this Indian of saying on the tzaddik who left this world, Schusi Yagen Aleinu?" He said something from the Rebbe Melech about this, and he said, "This Indian," he said, "that sounds almost pagan." I mean, I don't remember that. He said it borderlines, and it sounds kfiradik. It sounds like a Avodah. Like, I don't remember his exact words, but he said he explained like this. I said, very nice word. He said, we are always taught that the reward that we have in Olam Haba for doing mitzvahs is that we get to continue doing those mitzvahs, essentially. Meaning, if you daven in this world, you're going to be zoiche, Chazal say, to daven in the next world. You learn in this world, you're going to be zoiche to learn in the next world. And on a hechra darga, on a higher level, meaning if you're learning now something that Reb Shimon Yochai taught, you're going to get to go to the shir and listen to Reb Shimon Yochai himself, Olam Haba, Meir Balanes or Bekiva, whoever, even if in Heintik Tzadikim Och, from Shonim Achronim, when you learn their Torah, you're making a kesher with them, that when you go to the next world, you'll be zoiche to go sit in the shir and listen to the shir directly from them, which is a gewaldige thing, So anyway, so you daven in this world, you get to daven in the next world. You learn in this world, you're going to learn in the next world. What about chesed? Nobody needs anything there. Everybody has everything they need. So the answer is that Kivyochel Hashem does chesed in the schus of this person's chesed that he did in this world, and particularly if this was someone that the person in the next world would want chesed to be done to for whatever reason, then Hashem does chesed to that person in the schus of that tzaddik, of the schus of the chesed that they did b'hai alma in this world. It's a very rational, it mixes the spiritual and the rational in a very, it makes a lot of sense to say that. It's a very, I really like that word, I don't know, because it shows that we're not superstitious, I think, that when we say these things, there's a logical, there are logical things we could say, logical applications to these things. Anyway, we're going to move on. What's the next thing we can say? We were discussing easier with the Salman, or it's going to be easier to make a movie. So what am I saying here? So Yud Gimmel Middos, so we have that piyut of Yud Gimmel Middos. We have this in fasting on the day of Yud Gimmel Middos. I don't know how I got off on these tangents. And then the next thing, we want to talk about Yud Gimmel Middos is very fascinating. So, but the Satmar Rav would fast. This would be the day he would say Tashlach, and today the Satmar Rebbes say Tashlach, and I'd say most Rebbes say Tashlach today. Now the question is, when should one say Tashlach? Of course, it's just a minute. You don't have to say Tashlach at all, but it's something we do. And if it's your minhag, you should do it. Chasidim do it. So one thing I could say, like this Satmar Rav said, if you're able to do it on Rosh Hashanah, you should do it on Rosh Hashanah, like the whole world does. But if you're not able to do it on Rosh Hashanah, which he usually wasn't, he would do it on today, Yud Gimmel Middos. So that's the answer I have for that. Just some other things about today. So you go to Satmar Besmedrash, what's going on today? So again, it's the Slichas, people are fasting, but what else do we have? The next interesting minhag, which I don't think I'll be able to do, is to say all the Tehillim today, the whole book of Psalms, all 150 Psalms. You could do it in an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's not that difficult to do, but I don't know if I'm going to do that today. My big issue today is I'm working, and for many years I've had to work on the day of Yud Gimmel Middos, and it kind of heartbreaking that I'm not able to go. I have been zeicha once or twice to go to shul and hear the Kriyas HaKorbanos, which we're going to get to next. Now, the most fascinating thing is after the whole Tillim. So, like in the Satmar Besmedrish, it says, I don't know, 11:30 they start Tillim, and about 1:30, 1:45, whatever, then they have this very interesting minhag, which I think comes from Rebbe Rimanover, and it's not a very well-known minhag, but it's a fascinating minhag. To say to the Kriyas HaKorbanos, to read all of the portions in the Torah that discuss sacrifices. And of course we know what we read in the Haftorah this past Shabbos in the Shalom Farms V'Seinu, that the offerings of our lips come in the place of the bulls. That we when we learn about the Korbanos, it's considered as if we're being mocked with the Korbanos. Now I myself am not going to be able to make it to shul. I don't think I was going to try to see. I'm working in the Bronx. I want to see if the Non-Asher Rebbe in the Bronx, Silkazun sign, if he is over. That's your bus. All right. So I should just bring you to Chestnut Ridge, to the new development. All right. So I want to see if maybe he's going to have something. Maybe I'll go to him today. We'll see what the schedule's like. Maybe I'll call them. But other years I did Kriyas HaKorbanos myself as a Sefer Torah. I'm not going to have. I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity today to do it myself. But I do have a kuntris that has all the Kriyas, so I'll just read it myself from the text. From a printed text instead of, and I'm pretty sure I have it here in my Dallas bag. I thought I saw it when I left. So to me, I don't know, that's just one of the most fascinating minhagim, that you go when you read all the Korbanos, and of course it's nechshav keilu hikrafta to Korbanos. It's like you brought the Korbanos, so it's a very beautiful minhag. There's a seder of what to read, what order to read it in. You can find it in very few. There are some sidurim that have it, not that many. And that's about all. And it would be after that would be when they say the Tashlach. That's when, meaning after it doesn't take that long, the daven mincha.
They are hiding behind the houses.
I see kids here. These are your friends?
Yes.
All right. I'll leave you here. I heard that they had in the playground here, they had kapuras the other day.
Yesterday I saw baby ducks.
Baby ducks? All right.
In the row.
Oh. All right, I love you. Have a good day. Mommy's going to get you. You're going to take the bus home.
Okay.
All right, I love you.
Is that gonna be here?
Yeah, wherever she usually gets you. All right, just about time to go to the mikveh. 23 minutes, but I've been rambling a lot. This wasn't a very good video. I had some interesting. What's that building up there? That must be Eagle's Nest. I would like to do weddings there. I've tried to. I don't know. I've had a few times people book me for weddings there, and then they turn me down. I don't know. So in any event, we're very happy to have all of this. What am I talking about now? All right. So those are the main things. Yud Gimmel Middos is fasting. Of course, the Slichas, Yud Gimmel Middos, and the Tillim, that. I usually don't do the korbanos, which I find fascinating. And if you didn't do tashlich yet, today is a very good day to do it. Although it's better to do on Rosh Hashanah, today is pretty good. And that's about it. So, and we soll auspoilen alles geht. We zeker zijn ze gemaakt zien met teuven. Good gebenched year. And we should see a lot of simchas in this coming year. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. And correct me if I made some mistakes. And tell me if you know any other minhagim for this day, Yud Gimmel Middos. It seems to be a very special day, and I'd like to learn more about it. All right. God bless you.